I have clicked the record button. Yo, what up? Everybody at home, everybody over on YouTube. I have with me a special guest, Barrett Bryant of the playtest slash design team. We record top 8s, so if this is your first UniVersus video with me, because of critical stuff, go check those out. But we are going to be doing a bit of a full set review for the Heroes of Exandria set that is coming out here relatively soon. March 7th. Isn't that correct? I don't have a yeah, March 7th. You can find your local game stores and all that jazz. We've done a couple of previews here on the channel, but this is going to be literally, we are doing 211 cards. We are talking about them. We were doing something before this, and Barrett was like, hey, do you want me on for the review? And I was like, that'd be very, very fun. So Barrett, thanks for being on, man. It's very cool to have you.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. I'm not gonna ramble about all the I've known these cards for a long time, obviously, but I'm more excited about genuinely your opinions, what chat thinks of these cards, how successful they think they're going to be in the format, and yeah, I can give a little bit of insight on how I also agree and or disagree with those ideas.
Yeah, and so if you're in Twitch chat, I'm going to be putting up a small poll on every card of do you like the card, yes, no, or meh. Please feel free to 1, 2, and 3 in chat. Give your opinions and thoughts on the cards, as I know that UVS employees do watch these videos and see the feedback here of how cool or rad or awesome they are. So here's the goal of the videos. I'm going to be splitting this up into a ton of different videos, and they're all going to have the same intro. We're going to run through all of the air, chaos, earth, fire, life, order, void, water attuned cards. From there, we're going to go to the infinity slash multi-symboled cards. From there, we're going to do all of the ultra rares and then all of the secret rares. And so with that, let's get rocking. All right, let's move on to chaos. We've got Magic Boost, 1/5, 1 low block. It's a spell. It says enhance : this deck is +2 speed, +2 damage. I think trading a card out of your hand for +2/+2 as a common 1-diff action is totally okay. I think having this attack that we're currently on get a little faster, get a little bigger. I think it's a fair trade-off if used correctly. I think if you take and just play it all willy-nilly, it's gonna feel bad, right? The first move of the game, I'm just gonna open with it. It's gonna get blocked and it's not gonna feel great. But I think if used skillfully, I think this card's dope.
I agree with you. I think this card at its floor is like just barely playable, but
Yeah.
That's not the point, right? The point is, as soon as you start synergizing this with other things that we're going to talk about further down the road, the stocks for this card go up way, way higher. At its minimum, it is 2/2 on a move with the spell keyword with a great low block, easy to play because it's a 1-diff, and it has a spell, right? As we go on and on, because the floor is just barely playable, I think the ceiling makes this card actually like super playable when you combine it with other things. And that is exactly what we're here, dudes, to look at. It's a boost. It's getting boosted by the magic.
Whoa. It's crazy. It's funny, in the previews, they asked us to be like, hey, make sure that you're really PG about all your previews. Yeah. So anyways, this is Crotch Lightning. It's a 5/3, 3 low for 5 spell. It's got 2 high block. Blitz. If you have an action or spell in your card pool, this attack gets stun 2. This is...
Asterisk. This is getting a day 1 errata.
Okay, other...
If you have another...
Okay, all right.
action or spell. Yeah,
Because we would.
Yes.
This card, if you don't want it to be a blank 5-diff, 3 low for 5, asks to be a 6-diff.
Yeah.
I think if we look back at the other 6-diffs that we've already seen, and even like the fake 6-diffs that we've seen in this set, this one is not cut it in the same way that those ones do.
I agree with you. And if I could think of any other 3 for whatever 5s with just trying to get stunned 2, we could go down a list and probably find any other one.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, this is not Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken. And it has chaos.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come close, right?
Yeah.
So like So that's my like bottom line. It's
Yeah.
a common. Can you play this in sealed? Absolutely.
Like if you were
It
screaming for a
probably
5 diff low attack spell with a high block, like I guess, man, I guess. But you are scraping the bottom of the barrel. I guess I was gonna say BFE is a 5/5/3 high block, but it's not a low attack. So like I don't
Sure.
know how specific
But
you
with a
need to
way
be with
better
like to
ability.
really want how badly do you need crotch lightning. Yeah, this I want to move on. There's nothing to say about this card,
Okay,
man.
yeah. Okay, sounds good.
Electric Wand Blast. 4/3, 3 high for 4, 2 mid block. Flash spell has a response. After this attack is blocked, your rival commits 1 foundation. So late stage stun. This card's dope. If you like flash attacks in your deck, if you want to stay out of the enhanced step, this is exactly what you were looking for as a 4 diff.
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head any crazy chaos characters that want flash attacks, but here is one. It exists. It's a 4 diff. It has mediocre stats. If there is somebody that can take advantage of this, awesome, good for them. I think of like just Gentle Criminal, and he already also gets the benefits of his things being blocked, so it's like a 2-for-1 in that kind of
Yeah.
sense. But if we don't find ways of like putting stats on this, like a response speed, it's really hard to feel like this is justifiable to block.
Yeah.
So I just don't know where it's gonna find a home if it does. But at the same time, flash attacks, as we've known in the history with characters like Zero One, are good when your opponent gets lower and lower on life. So maybe we'll play this as someone will play this as like a 1-of in their deck, and I think that would feel fine.
I think so too. Again, it also like depends on like spell synergy, right? Like you could imagine
Yeah.
like as an ending move, if there's some way to stack my next attack is gonna get some stats. Go pick up a spell from a transmutation of Caleb or a Jester one and slam this at the end and say, hey, your onboard pieces don't matter. But again, like you said, the damage is just what's lacking here. If you can fix that, if you can answer that question, I think this card is going to see a decent amount of play. Just don't know who. Up next, one of the coolest cards I think in the set. Very, very faithful to the original IP is just Elemental Orb. 4/3, 4 mid for 4. It's a 2 mid block spell. Blitz, choose Acid Cold, Electricity, or Fire. Depending on which one you chose, it is either if it deals damage to a character, your rival sacrifices a foundation. Very cool. Freeze a rival foundation, you get to pick it. This gains stun 1, or this gets 2 damage. Like looking at the floor. 4 mid for 4 stun 1, great. Next level up, 4 mid for 6, great. A 4 mid for 4 that if they have committed a foundation, I get to selectively freeze that foundation. Incredible. If their shields are down and you want them to break a foundation on like turn 2, choosing Acid is great. It makes them actually have to respect this. If I demand that you block this correctly, is dope. I think this is a great utility card. I think it's gonna be one of the coolest pieces for Caleb to go transmute and just go pick back up and then replay.
I agree with you. I think this is one of the coolest cards in the set. It is very thematic, and also it can be put in so many different types of decks. If you are doing the spell game plan, this has a mode for basically, I can imagine any certain type of deck. At minimum, I think the stun 1 is good enough for a lot of people to start this as a baseline in a lot of their spell decks.
Yeah.
If I think freeze is so good though, I think of even like Chaos having this mini engine that can do now freeze foundations. This plus Vast Cyber Chimera Kraken feels like it's like freeze 2
Yeah.
is really good early on in the game.
Yeah.
For a very fine 4 mid for 4. And yeah, it's so I think modal cards are so powerful, and I think 4 modes is about as good as you can get.
Yeah. Totally agree. Up next, we've got Magic Assault, the worst picture of Scanlan Shorthold I've ever seen. It is a 4/3, 4 mid for 3 spell. It says mill 1. If you milled a card with a check value of 4 or greater this way, your rival spends a momentum. This attack gains throw. Reminds me of if, what's the Genkai 3 damage move? Spirit,
You said 3 damage move, and I have no idea what you're talking. Oh,
It's
absorb
the
energy
ultra rare.
strike.
Absorbed
Sorry.
energy strike. Thank you.
Yeah,
Does not have
sorry.
spray. Absorbed energy strike. It feels like if a absorbed energy strike was a common. It doesn't get the bonus stats, but it doesn't ask them to spend the momentum as well as, it gains throw. So I just don't want to interact with this one. It's a 4-mid. It's 3 damage. I think this is at like if momentum becomes like really really primo, I think this is an acceptable momentum hate card, especially if you can figure out how to stack any damage on it. I know that like imagine I play Magic Assault, I make them spin a momentum, I turn this into a throw, I then play a wound restore on it. Well, now this thing's actually kind of threatening, right? It's like a guaranteed 6 damage move because it now has throw. In my chaos spell deck, I think that this feels pretty decent. Decent to
I think
great
it has
even.
I think it has a non-zero amount of ways to see play, but like, man, people are gonna put this in their deck to try it out, and more often than not, it's gonna hit. And the moment your mill 1 hits an attack card that's a check value of 3 or less, they're gonna be, this is awful, and they're gonna cut it from their deck.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of where I think the card will end up. But like you said, if you can find ways to guarantee that mill 1, like stacking 2 cards off the top of your deck when you play this and then the mill, or vice versa, you're the luckiest gamer alive.
Yeah.
And you're always going to get it. So it's momentum hate and a throw. You're right. When you put a bunch of damage on this, it feels really good.
I think that
but
this is a perfect example of a card that like would benefit of this not being blitz, it just being an enhance. And so I figure out a way at enhanced speed to like stack my deck, and then I'll remill it, right? I think that it would feel better there rather than randoming the blitz off the top. I get it. It's chaos. It's random. Tee hee ha ha. Let's make the card a little more playable though, by just giving it the enhanced step.
Yep.
Yeah. From here. Oh, sorry. Ubami can loop this, so it's a 1 for me in my deck at least. Dope. Fair enough. You got it, Dan. Warding Sigil. I am livid. This is not on a playmat. 5/3, 4 high for 6 with a 2 low block, EX3 spell, Blitz. If you have more ready foundations than your rival, they spin momentum. I don't know why I would ever play this one if I could just play, this one.
I was going to say the same thing, Tam. EX3 is a real ass keyword. 6 base damage is really good. Low block is premium. Just play it when you know you're going to have more ready foundations, and it's good to go. Like, it's just good to go, man.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, like your character would like have to like Uabami care about the 3 damage rather than the 6, or you care about the 4 diff, not the 5 diff, but like they're the same low block, they're the same speed, but one of them is actually like really going to hit all the time because of the EX3, and one of them doesn't like it's so easy for it to have more readied foundations than your rival, because if they're playing the game, they're committing foundations because they're passing their checks, and then when my turn starts, I ready all my foundations. I play it first. It's gone. It's over. No momentum for you.
I'm not saying this is a 5 out of 5 going to be a 4 of in any decks. I don't even know if it'll be a 3 of or a 2 of in decks, but like when it comes to momentum hate, this card can do it, and it wears stats very, very well while helping itself. I agree. For an uncommon, I think this is fine.
Yeah. Let's move on to Break the Spell. 2/5/3 high block, unique spell. Enhance, spend 1 momentum, unseal 1 card in your stage, period. We'll stop there. What an incredible ability.
I agree. The fact that this ability exists means that we have counterplay to Hero's upbringing.
Yes.
Which is crazy to say.
Yeah. So good. So good. And the best part is Ghidorah doesn't get to play it. Hate that guy. Keep him sealed. Still want to kill that guy with 1 hit. Bow. Now, I think the fact that it's also like it's not a once per turn spin the momentum on seal. If you seal 6, 7, 8 cards in my, if I've got the momentum and I can spin the cash, I'm going to keep my stage healthy and whatever. And then it responds once per turn, tenacious, so playable while committed. After this card is committed due to a rival effect, re-ready it. So it's a little bit of stun hate, just a little bit. This is a 1 of in literally every character. There's no reason that it should not be. You just play this at a 1 of. It's in every deck.
It's not even just the stun hate. It's selective committal hate, because it means your opponent playing Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken against this can't pick this one.
Yeah.
So if you're also sealing stuff or having some sort of, you almost have to target this as the first seal option, or your opponent gets to kind of run rampant on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a foundation with spell, that does matter.
Totally. 100%. 100%. We'll move on to Fortune's Favor. 2-4, excuse me, 3 low block. It's a spell. Response after Rival fails a check, your next check gets +1, period. Very cool if they're playing actions and they're trying to rip cards off the top. Very cool whenever they fail blocks. You just get +1 to your next check. And that is not a commit or once per turn or whatever. And then response remove after you fail a check to play a non-attack card. Your combat phase does not end. This is so good when you get breakered and you want to just play a foundation in the middle. I got you breaker 3'd me with your big fist bash. Well, I'll play this and respond Fortune's Favor. Actually, I'd like to keep going, please. I've eaten up my breaker block and we'll still send it. So coming in. It's great.
Tam, I have very strong opinions about this card. I think this is the least talked about card from Critical Role that is actually very, very good.
I think this card's correct. I think this card's not unique.
This card is not unique. This card has direct synergy with other things in the games, such as Vile Seizing and the other one that I want, Blue Flame Torment.
Yeah.
And, Tam, we have a character that exists that makes your opponent make a check at every enhanced step.
Dobby?
All of a sudden, Dobby 3 stocks got really high.
Yeah.
Because this has the Chaos Attune symbol. Nobody probably remembers what Dobby 3 does. And I'm not saying it's an irrelevant ability, but now every single time you press the enhance on Dobby 3, for every one of these in your stage, because it's not unique, you get to play incredible defense and incredible offense.
Yeah.
I think that is a big deal. I think people that are Dobby fans are going to cook home a homebrew Dobby 3 deck, and it's going to play really, really good kitchen table UniVersus when Dobby 3 has never played good kitchen table UniVersus. And if somebody cooks just hard enough, might actually be good enough to top cut something. I genuinely feel that just by looking at this one foundation.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. That's my take. That's my
and
take,
Essex really hot, so.
Yeah, Essex is really hot.
Next we've got Holstered Spellbook. Probably one of my favorite aesthetic designs for Caleb is the fact that like he's not like a regular ass like pointy hat wizard. It's like inside is like it's a holster. It's cool. 1/4, 3 mid block. Enhance Golan's attack. This spell attack is +1 damage for each copy of Holstered Spellbook in your stage. Flip this card, period. There's a lot of unflipping that can exist inside of this set. It's not necessarily under the chaos symbol. It is more under the earth symbol. But if you have some way to have chaos and earth flip and unflip, play a bunch of cool spell stuff, we're kind of off to the races. Slow burn kind of a card. I think it's going to be tough to find multiple holstered spellbooks. I will say that I think in sealed, so like when you're doing like PvEs or like pre-releases or sealed or whatever, or even draft, like if you find that somebody like your table is not drafting holstered spellbooks and you just like grab 6 or 7 of these and you're just like on turn 1, I'll build 3 of them. You look at your opponent and go, one of these is really going to hurt. It's going to really, really hurt.
I can't really talk about my real opinions of this card without referring to one of the ultra rares in the set. I think there is one specific combo that makes this card very, very playable, and it is when you play it in conjunction with Gravity Well. And regardless of the rest of the text, as we'll talk about Gravity Well later, Gravity Well has an ability that says cards cannot be flipped during this attack, which means
that's dope.
If you assemble a Zodia,
that's very cool.
And you have 4 holstered spellbooks in your stage with Gravity Well, it is +16 damage on your Gravity Wells, and you get to keep the spellbooks in your stage for something later. Now the key is we have to put a bunch of speed on Gravity Well, but that combo alone is cool enough, in my opinion, to make this card playable.
That is dope. That's dope.
That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Way cooler than I gave it credit for. I thought this was just there for draft.
Some draft chaff. It is
Yeah.
there for draft chaff. Yes.
But it is got a neat kitchen table thing. That's dope. Up next, we've got inspiring song. This art style is so hit or miss for me. I think that I just like I dig it.
You did.
I'm
This
not
is the
sure
same style
if I love
that
it or
the
I hate it.
promo, right? The promos has it. The Warden's Aid one or whatever.
It's
that they
very
came out
similar.
with.
It's very
It's the
similar.
same style. It is kind of cool.
Yeah. Everybody's a little lankier and like a little stockier than they're supposed to be. I don't know. 1/6, it's a spell, 3 mid block, enhance flip, mill 3, choose a player. That player's next check gets +1 or -1. This does not have the caveat of they don't fail their turn doesn't end. If I got a couple of these, this is breaker without blocking. If I got a couple of these, it's a 1/6 that says my check gets even better, and it's not unlike something like a league invitation. It's not at block response. It is an enhance to like string out and make my combos even more crazy, right? I think this one's great. This one's super awesome.
Krista players rejoice. You found a 6 check that's playable that you get to play.
Yes, and puts more cards in this card pile. That's dope.
Yeah, I think this card's very good. It has spell for the decks that care about that. It has mill for the decks that care about that, right? You know, like some combined firepower deck, as long as your character has chaos, really get a benefit off of this. Characters that care about the top card of their discard pile, like Not the Brave, Irritable Goblin, really like a card like this. So it's +1 speed to your move at minimum, or make your next check to block or play another attack card. I think this card's super good, super fine, and it's gonna be great in draft too, or draft or sealed. So
Disaster Dan says I love this in Reiner too. That's dope. 6 check that mills 3 that says that like your character with a very small staging area just like gets to play more cards. Yeah, dig it. Absolutely dig it. Up next, the undeniably coolest card in the set, and it's not close. Leave it to chance. It's a 3/5/3 mid block response once per turn. After you make a check, recheck by rolling a 6-sided die and using the result. Did I need to check a 6 to win the game? I'll leave the chance. Maybe I could check a 1. Who knows? I think this card is dope. I think this card is super rad. I think the only way that you could have made this card cooler is if you were allowed to do it in the PvE and make an ally re-roll with the 6 check. But to do that, it would have to say player, and I think making your rival in actual games re-roll to make their check using the D6 is messed up. You can't do that. But it would be sick for like, you need the finishing blow, make you re-roll the 6 check, or make you roll the 6-sided die is dope. I think this card is sick. Never ever going to see competitive play. This card is too much of a risk. Way too much of a risk. But it's cool, man.
I think you did a great job explaining this card. So instead, I will share a small story.
Please.
My small story is obviously I forced myself to play this card, even though it is a very much for fun card in playtest. And boy howdy, every time I played this response, I sure did roll a 1 or a 2. And every time Will Howard played this card, he sure did roll a 5 or a 6. And sometimes you're just built better.
Yeah.
Some people are born lucky.
Yeah.
And I was not them, so I will never be able to play this card.
I love it. Magic Alarm. 2/5/3 low block. Will's a jet. Spell card. Response flip. After the combat phase begins, your rival's first attack this turn gets -4 speed, period. I am in love with this card, and I'm going to be so distraught if I am forced to cut it from my list. I think response flip -4 speed is so sick. So sick. It gives me Reiner 2 energy once flipped of your first move gets -5 damage. It's just a safety precaution of response flip, -4 speed. Think twice before attacking me, right? That deterrent of please stop, knock it off. If you do, I'm just gonna block your move. So don't just build and pass. Bring it back. Let it come back to me. And then again, there's a ton of unflipping synergy inside this set. If you have Chaos and Earth to unflip this guy back up, you're just always having -4 speed on that first one. Just feels unfair, man. It just feels really unfair.
I'm hit or miss on this card. I think the ability is very, very good. I think that alone will make it be like a 1 or a 2 of. But like, I don't see it going much higher in my opinion for most decks, only because it is that like your opponent's allowed to play around it. When your opponent really, really wants to open with a Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, this card's gonna feel great,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because it's gonna feel really good. When your opponent is playing Godzilla, this card's gonna feel really good.
Yeah.
When your opponent's playing like Pony Sunatori and they lead with an Electric Moth, this card's not going to feel that good.
Yeah,
Because you
that's
sure
fair.
didn't want to block the Electric Moth anyway. And because it was just a flip cost, is still going to make me believe that it is playable at like a 1 or 2 of index. But that's probably about it. But I guess that's all you can really ask for a common, honestly. And that's with it being a 2-dip with a crappy block. So like, I'll take it. But I don't think it's like the stars all be all great, but it is not bad. It is really cool.
It is gonna
It
be
is
my
a
favorite card.
timing nightmare, though. This is for every time you've missed nice try, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
for every time
Yeah.
you miss nice try, you're
Yeah.
gonna miss this.
Yeah. It's dope though. It's so sick. It's so sick. We'll move on.
Oh yeah, I think Disaster Dan also makes a good point.
Oh,
It
that's
does
cool.
not-
Plays determined advance.
Determined advance. Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
This card's insane. This card's crazy. Magic Trap. 2/5, 2 high block response once per turn. After you play an action card, your rival's next check to play a card gets -1, period. This card does not have the writer text of they will not fail their turn.
Yeah.
In their turn. If you could just like slam 3 actions in a row and say, hey, Breaker 3 kind of for free. Every action that I play essentially has Breaker now. Or Breaker 1 for each copy of Magic Trap that you have.
Yeah.
I think that the mages are going to be really, really, really annoying. Like imagine, you ready? Imagine a Jester. Life Jester, as this is a spell card, building up her momentum, Jester 1. I'm going to spend my momentum and I'm going to build in my 4 Magic Traps. You've hurt me a little bit. I'm going to play Wound Restore. I'm going to gain 5. Your next check has -4. Please continue the game. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
In that same realm of thought, any characters that play a combined firepower symbol main but also have chaos on them, when you go to block with a combined firepower or attack with one, you are giving more speed to your move or your opponent's next check is going to get hacked. Or when you block with it, you also get to use these, and like you said, you essentially have Breaker on an action that you snagged from your discard pile.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to what we talked about in the beginning. Magic Boost being that 1/5, 1 low block, just giving 2/2 to your move. All of a sudden, we're giving 3/2, 4/2, 5/2, 6/2 to your move because of how many of these exist in your stage. That's where we really start to see the capacity of action cards synergizing with other cards that wants you to play actions.
And the big thing about it is when we look at Magic Boost, right? Magic Boost is +2 speed, +2 damage on the singular move. If you choose not to even attempt to block, the Magic Trap will follow you for the rest of the attack turn. When used on offense. Yeah, this card is very, very scary, and I think it's going to be one of the key players if you are using the spell synergies. Soothing Grog's Rage, 2/6, 2 mid-block spell, enhance flip, remove a counter from a rival non-character card, or a rival character card with 4 more counters on it, period. I wonder why you had to pick specifically 4 more counters. Response flip, after you play a block, your next check to play a block gets +1. This card's neat. I think it's really cool and sealed. I don't think that's going to see any play in actual competitive, just because I think that if you want the 2/5 mid-block slot, it's just League of Invitation or whatever that card is, because it increases your check and gives you the plus to your block. This card's fine though.
I guess if Pony's a menace, I think the enhance is playable on Pony. That horn counter math really does matter when
True.
it's one more or one less, especially when they're attacking into you when they get up to 4. Is it enough to play this card if you're not already doing the spell synergies things? Probably not, but yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, yeah, league interview already exists, so that's probably just the one.